What will it take for you to win at slots? Well, it's not having a huge bankroll, that's for sure. I mean, you can, but a small bankroll works just fine too. With care, patience, and more than a little practice, some members of my audience have found that even free slots play can do the job for them. Once you understand what's really going on at your casino, like I did after 9 months at Horseshoe Cincinnati in the first 2 years after it opened, and before it was sold, and I went on to other casinos rather than learn Jack Cincinnati all over again, using my free slots play was like making withdrawal from an ATM machine, only I never knew how much I'd get. But we'll get more into bankrolls and other important topics later in the course. For now, let's talk about what else winning isn't about. Have you ever used this approach to making a decision like, picking a college major? First, you make a list of majors. Second, you cross off those majors you don't want to pursue. And finally, you look at what's left over on your now much shorter list of possible majors to have a much clearer idea of top candidates. So let's do that now. First, winning at slots isn't about bankroll size. And second, it's not about how often you play slots. Although going once every year or two runs the risk of the casino getting itself a new owner and resetting all its casino business practices. If that happens to you, you'll have to start over from scratch with learning the casino all over again. This risk can be mitigated by having two favorite casinos rather than putting all your eggs in one basket, as it were. That happened to me, where I learned two local casinos very well indeed, then one of them got bought. Horseshoe Cincinnati became Jack Cincinnati, then a few years later it became Hard Rock Cincinnati. Within 8 years after being built, it had 3 owners, and my backup local casino, Belterra Park, got itself sold 5 years later to Boyd Gaming. None of these casino ownership changes are necessarily bad. They might provide an opportunity to win which didn't previously exist, but again, it'll put us back to square one where everything we once knew about that casino needs to be reassessed. As an aside, commercial casinos get purchased a lot, or more often the majority stakeholder changes when a current owner manages to acquire over 50% of its ownership. Tribal casinos don't change tribes, but casino owners are not always the same as casino operators. Tribes can find it beneficial to, let's say, Harrah's run their tribal casino for a cut of the profits. 2 other events which can occur that can change everything about how you'll learn to win at your casino is significant changes in gaming regulations, or if a new casino opens near your casino or an old one closes its doors. Neither is particularly unlikely given casinos that closed forever due to the pandemic and all the new casinos that have been spreading everywhere in the last few years. You have lifetime access to this course, not your lifetime or my lifetime, but the lifetime of my business, however long that may be. But when I say what will it take for you to win at slots, part of what I mean is what is it going to take for you to keep winning at slots? As I sometimes like to say, change is a constant. This course intends to teach you how to win at slots, but it will also help keep you winning at slots despite the ongoing and dynamically changing slots industry. Learning to win at slots is iterative. You'll need to start again and again, sometimes because you want to figure out how to win at a backup casino proactively, sometimes because secret negotiations were successfully completed for your casino to come under new management. The first clue of which was when you noticed a new owner name on your W-2G tax form from your latest hand-paid jackpot. When trying to sell themselves, casinos keep any such thing very, very secret. I only found out Horseshoe Cincinnati had sold itself when I saw it on my W-2G. I saw an article a month or 2 later about the ownership change. Then 6 months later, the big outdoor signs were finally replaced, which is when most people found out about the change. But you can find out on a W-2G, on yours or someone else's if you ask them to look. On the same day, the change happens because the casino informs the government first. In the months and years following your taking this course and learning how to win, this is the sort of thing you'll have to adjust to in the future. I've certainly had to, and you will too if you want to keep winning. And of course, you can always retake this course if you figure out how the best way to win, then forget every other way over the next year or two, but then suddenly find yourself having to start again from scratch. One important aspect of this I've hinted at, but need to explicitly describe. Out of all the ways you might learn to win at your casino, one of them is the best way to win. And for whatever reason, the casino can change that winning approach. In fact, whatever the cause, you should expect that they will. What I'm saying is you'll need to keep up. But first, let's talk about learning to win at slots the first time. What's that going to be like? For some slots enthusiasts, you'll need to let go of the past to be able to win. The time before central servers isn't the same as after central servers, so small or large adjustments are needed. Certainly lots of great skills remain, just like learning to win now can be sorted through in the future to learn to win at new casinos, technologies, or gaming regs. Your experiences matter. They'll give you an advantage. Well, some will. You'll need to figure out which still work for you now. My assumption is that you're not new to slots. Maybe you are, which is certainly okay, but some of you are not new. And like everything else, some retraining is needed. I say this like playing slots is a job. It is a job, sort of, but it can be the best job, a fun job. At least I hope it will be for you. Like any new job, certain practices lead to a better result. For example, let's say you want to try coming back exactly 1 week after a jackpot is won, but you're an hour late. Put another way, you are an hour late for work. Now, what do you expect to happen? Maybe the boss immediately calls you into the office? Or maybe your annual review doesn't go so well? Both apply to missing your target time you attempted. And by the way, you're the boss. It's you that you'll have to explain yourself to. It's you that'll do your own annual performance review and maybe not walk away from that meeting feeling particularly good. This self-evaluation of your gambling performance by casino trip or annually involves more than just being an hour late. It involves lots of topics for improving your slots play. Could you be better at leaving with your winnings? Most rely on sheer willpower, but there are techniques we'll talk about which makes leaving with your winnings easier. Same with choosing a winning slot machine and recognizing when it suddenly stops being a winner, and habits you can develop to be safer in the casino environment, and testing for each strategy, and more and more and more. Which is why being self-taught at slots is so hard, yet until now that's all we could do, until now. My basic philosophy is that specific game themes don't matter to winning. Game themes matter only in terms of player appeal. To win, that's a big concept you may have to adjust to. Machine types matter to winning because different types of machines fall under different gaming regulations. But game themes don't matter to winning because they only look identical on the outside. Put another way, if you're not doing so already, you need to learn to play the casino rather than play the slot machine. I'm paraphrasing the once famous Jimmy the Greek, who once famously advised table game poker players, don't focus on playing the game of poker, but rather focus on playing the other player. So focus on the casino, my slots enthusiast friends, and not the slot machine. I focus on the casino to win. Which is it for you? Do you focus on the slot machine like the casino wants you to? Or do you focus on the casino? The first is all about faulty luck-based gaming. The second is all about learning to win. As you move on to your tasks and resources, please do not skip through this section very quickly. I know it's easy to just want to jump ahead and get into all the technical stuff and the click here and the click there type of stuff, and some of that content is coming. We're going to get there, I promise you, but it's not going to help you unless you first know what you're trying to accomplish. It's not about playing the same game theme at any casino because you think they all have identical high odds. I know this feels somewhat like maybe a vulnerable, challenging thing to really dive into, and you're like, there's no way I can figure this out in a day. But I know you can, like, tweak your approach and change it over time. But please do not skip this, because without this stuff, this foundation, it's going to be very hard to improve your slots gambling performance. So go on to the tasks and resources, and I'll see you in day 3.